Welcome back, everybody, to the second half of the Duelyst World Championship December qualifier. We just witnessed rounds 1 and 2 of the Swiss bracket, being that 32 players were invited to compete in today's Swiss bracket, the 8 top of which will then go on tomorrow to compete in a single elimination bracket. The top dog who will be granted Grandmaster title. So here we are in the second half with Miguel Megamagwai Guerrero Leon and Ethan Wintermute Roth. How are you doing?
Roth?
Yeah, finally saying it in an exotic way, like the boys asked.
Yeah. I can't say it was the best, but I did tell you I would try. So there we have a little
late Christmas gift. I appreciate it.
Yeah, there we go. How are you doing today, Winter?
Pretty good. Really excited to see how the meta is moving since it's in the tournament scene pretty recent from the expansion. So really excited to see some games.
Yeah, we've already seen a lot of innovation coming through to the table. And looking at the two players up next, PandaJJ, who in a past qualifier had made it all the way to the finals with some very interesting decks. If I'm not mistaken, it was a qualifier or an open, something of the sort. And then we have Minmaxer, who Magwai was just talking about having the number 2 and 3 spots in the ladder. So Magwai, why don't you expand a little bit upon these players and the type of interesting factors that they should be bringing to this matchup?
Well, I'm going to start off with PandaJJ. PandaJJ is a player that I've been familiar with for a while now. I met him in Team Wars. He was actually in my brother's team back in the day when both of us competed. And he's a very well-versed Vanar main, which has basically diversified his game. He's also really good with Cassiva. And what you were referring to, I believe it was the Duelyst World Championship qualifier top 8. So the event that we cover on Sundays, he brought both Xerix and Sash, adapting to a Argent heavy meta, and he countered that really well. And he made it all the way to semifinals and actually lost the semifinals due to a key misplay. He could have potentially taken the whole thing because I think he was the best prepared of them all. So I definitely have high standards for Panda. I think he's one of the best players out there, and he always adapts well. He always brings it, so I'm excited. And when it comes to mix, like Max Miner or Minmaxer, he switches it up between those two names. Very well established ladder player that has. He's the author of one of the most used Riva lists nowadays, which is a Shanghai aggressive Riva with both Sojourner and Spelljammer as draw mechanics. I believe that list does not run Heavy's Eclipse. And it's the list that Unipro utilized to reach S rank this time around. So I'm familiar with that. And also, like I said, the man who took spot number 2 and 3 of the S rank ladder, only bested by Solifit in this. So 2 very top level players are going to go at it right now. And it's going to be, I'm not sure who's going to take it.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line here. And Winter, do you think JJ might be coming back with the vengeance, being that he made it to the finals last time around and just narrowly missed out on that Grandmaster title?
Yeah, I think that's always a very strong driving force for competitive players. And having been so close but so far away, he might be coming back with a vengeance, just like you said. And Minmaxer, to his credit, a god of the ladder. It's going to be very interesting to see how that perspective influences what he's bringing here today. So,
and speaking of what he's bringing here today, we are going to see Riva, Cassiva, and Argion for Minmaxer, and Zeron, Vath, and Cassiva for PandaJJ. So with all of that knowledge, Mega Mogwai, back to you for the predictions. Who do you think is going to win?
Do we know the lineups that they're bringing exactly?
Yes. Minmaxer with Riva, Cass, Argion, and then PandaJJ.
You caught off a little bit there. Cassiva and what else?
With Zeron, Vath, and Cassiva.
Zeron?
Yes. You heard that one correctly.
I'm going with Panda because the dankness just swallows me in, and I can't help myself. Panda all the way. He's taking it, and just because he's going with Zeron, God damn it. I'm voting for a 3-0 sweep. All in. Like, what am I doing? Whatever.
No take backs. No take backs.
Actually, can I actually take that back? No, right?
If you want to change the number, you can, but you got to do it now.
I think I got a bit crazy there. I'm gonna go with Panda, but it's gonna be a 3-2. Like, come on, it's Minmaxer. What am I doing?
So 3-2 on the side of PandaJJ for Mogwai. Winter, are you gonna go for the 3-0 for somebody, or
yeah, 3-0 Minmaxer? 3-0 Minmaxer. You know, okay. It's been a little bit since Mogwai and I have been at the desk together, and I'm looking to start the new year off strong.
Spicy.
By dumpstering him in the prediction department.
Oh,
so
really?
Let's go.
Okay.
Yep.
Bring it on.
Well,
I sort of got it.
Only one way to find out who wins the prediction war here. So let's get it going with game number 1 of our 3rd series of the day. Minmaxer on the starting side with Riva, and then PandaJJ on side number 2 with Cassiva. Everybody, get back, sit tight in your seats, and enjoy the action.
Do this. Minmaxer on the left, Panda on the right. It's been a while since we've seen the Mark II gear for Cassiva, actually. That's pretty refreshing to the eyes. I like it. Especially, I don't know, I'm a fan of the ponytail sword.
The ponytail sword?
Yeah. No turn 1 play, though. What do you think about that? Oh, that sucks.
I think that Riva is one of the generals who, given her the swingy potential that the deck lists often bring, can get away with that more than other, perhaps more board-oriented generals can. Obviously, it's not ideal, however.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm very... It's like, even though he had no turn 1 play, we do... This may... I was going to say, this looks like Minmaxer's Songhai list. Well, of course, it's him.
Well, Minmaxer is playing Songhai. It might be his list.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that list looks familiar. Well, he's the one that made it. Makes sense. As we see a Sojourner being placed out of his reach. He can't afford to actually capitalize on Ooze with Sojourner because of the fact that he had no turn 1 play, so he can't really work for, getting advantage of.
And the hand is the hand's full, so what
exactly because of that. Because he had no turn 1 play, he can't. His hand's gonna be full, so he can't really capitalize on that. He has to keep that far away so he can use it when he needs to. As Panda has several options here. I think Spelljam is a very nice play because of the slow start Minmaxer has had.
Always feels bad, man, when you replace a Juggernaut into a creep generator like Crawler. Regardless, looking forward with the Void Pulse, the draw, the Kalino, this is looking very, very strong for Panda as far as his options are concerned.
Indeed. I do think he could, this is one of the instances in which you gotta know just how much you're gonna commit to damage. And, this is awkward because Minmaxer has a lot of bodies to deal with, and Songhai does not like diverting. It's the reason why, while Songhai does have several tools that are very useful against Vitruvian, like, for example, range minions, they also struggle dealing with Obelisk because it's a lot of stats that you got to hit, and you don't really want to waste all that out-of-hand damage on minions. Right. You want to waste it on the face. So it'll be interesting to see what Minmaxer does here.
I mean, on the upside, you do have the Sojourner. So, if you're doing some inner focus combos with that, you are generating cards. It's not like you're just going to dump your hand and then run out of gas. However, as you said, a board state where he's forced to divert damage to the creatures is going to be very problematic, especially considering Cassiva brings that inevitability. And the longer you're spent dealing with creatures, the longer they're staying alive, the more you're going to have to compete with them on their own terms in the late game. Not exactly what you want to be doing.
Indeed. As we see the Sojourner being Mistdragon sealed onto the Manatau, taking both of them, we're going to see a very dynamic play here, without a doubt. A Heartseeker to boot, which will be potentially dealt with by Panda as a Bloodborne spell, as he goes Phoenix Fire onto the Spelljammer. Yeah, he has to limit the Spelljammer there. He's running out of options, to stop milling. You can't let a Spelljammer stick by when you're keeping a full hand. Right. You already have a minion drawing for you. You have to prioritize it. And I like how he technically capitalized on the Ooze with his own Sojourner, but it made him mill anyways.
Drew 2 4 wins and then build the third. It's pretty...
The thing about the inner focuses, which he could use, is like technically you're not going to lose out on card advantage, but you're losing out on 2 of the 3 inner focuses in your deck. They're very precious cards, which you must really preserve for the proper moment, in my opinion.
Right.
So it's kind of rough having them so early on in his hand.
It's true. You are recouping the card loss, but again, that burst potential might be something you need to close the game out to make a big play with the Heartseeker later on. You got to be careful. Like you said earlier in the match, I mean, this is going to, really, really show, the decision process by which Songhai have to, use their resources carefully, be conservative, but strike when the moment presents itself. And this Kalino in the back, might be a problem. Might have to take a turn, just develop board, let it sit there, get to a place where you can deal with it.
Yep. I think I think it's gonna go downhill from here because he's not able to answer this Kalino. He's got a lot of burst. He's got a lot of potential in his hand. That's true. But Panda has taken no damage whatsoever. And while 4 wins can pose a problem, not really when you have like removal in the sense of the form of punish and Blood Tier Alchemist. Like, he doesn't even need this Bloodborne spell this turn to deal with that. But the problem is, if he goes for that, he cannot develop the Abyssal Juggernaut this turn. Abyssal Juggernaut will be massive, so he may opt to ignore it, but ultimately he's not going to do so. He's gonna kill it.
I think this is fine. I mean, you're at full health. Minmaxer is at half health. Deny him any sort of ability to advance his game plan. You already have the Kalino in the back. You have the Crawler just spitting creep out turn after turn. You have the Revenant in your hand. You can play the Juggernaut next turn. Like, Panda is sitting pretty here. I like this. I like this line of play a lot.
I like how he's also being
out of the game.
Aggressive. Yeah.
Right.
Because he's not like running away with Kalino and the Abyssal Crawler. He's keeping them relatively close. So he's like, I don't want you to reach him, but at the same time, I want to be able to utilize these bodies if I need to close out the game.
Yeah. Applying that chip damage, confident that he's going to be very healthy with the Azure Herald, the Void Pulse, the Kalino. Minmaxer's under a ton of pressure here. Now, if his board could get answered this turn, it would be disastrous for him. Looking at his hand, though, ton of burst, double inner focus, killing edge, aerial blades.
So much burst, so much, especially if that 4 wins sticks. The thing is, I think we're clearly going to see Revenant this time around. The thing is, what do you target, Katara or 4 wins? Not an easy decision to make because Katara can always get out of hand.
Positioning is key here, especially if you're going for the 4 wins, right?
Yep, without a doubt. What will he target?
I mean, he might just go face.
I mean,
with the Void Pulse in hand. I mean, probably not.
I like him targeting. Yeah, because 4 wins can translate into so much healing. And you know what? He can afford a backstab at this stage.
Right.
So I like this a lot.
You're at 25. You're not really worried about getting OTK'd.
Yeah. Even though that hand is pretty scary in that sense.
I mean,
like, how much damage is this?
It's a lot. Especially if you jux that Katara in.
Like, he can Ethereal Blaze the... Wait. How much burst is this? Because he can Justa, right? He can...
Ethereal Blades, hit, inner focus.
And then Killing Edge.
How
much is that? How much damage is that? Wait, let's see. 3... Katara has...
12...
That's ridiculous. Like, this is a lot of damage.
Wow.
Could he kill it here, actually? How much? I just don't know. Like, math. Miguel, math, please. Katara had a total of 3 backstabs, so that's 6 damage. That's 1, that's 2, and then he could kill him here.
Then Killing Edge.
I think he kills him.
Kills him. Over.
He kills him. He actually kills him.
This is over.
Wow.
Over.
Are you kidding me? Where'd he go? Oops. Wait, did he, what happened? I'm confused. What happened? Why is he not? What's happening?
Is he?
Wait, well, I don't understand. So he went, what? Wait, what? Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to see the replay on that.
Okay, I don't understand what happened there. Did he killing edge before? And no, but he already used it. What happened?
He attacked before the killing edge.
Oh,
he sequenced it incorrectly.
Oh my God, no!
That's really bad.
Are you?
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
that's why I was silent. I was so stunned that happened that I was.
Or did he rope, or was it the timer bug? I don't even know. Oh man!
So I imagine it was taken. He probably counted and then like triple checked himself to make sure that it was lethal, because if he committed to that and he was wrong, he was just gonna die. But and maybe he got super excited and misclicked or something. A little. I don't even know what. The fact that he even had that lethal and then that, I don't know what to say.
If he would have killed him, that would be the second time we saw a Songhai kill the opponent general when that general was at 25 health in one day. We did see that once earlier because of the mirror meld. So that would have been the second time in a row that we had. But unfortunately for Minmaxer, things didn't quite work out for him there. So
pain.
I know. Yeah. I feel like there's so much silence among everybody because we're just thinking, I don't know how you react to something like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of speechless right now, honestly. Wow.
Yeah, so either he got too ahead of himself with the sequencing, or as Winter said, having to think it through multiple times, especially with what was on the board previously, perhaps roping out there a couple of things that didn't work in his favor. So one thing, Mogwai, being we know that mentality is a huge thing to go into this. Do you think Minmaxer can move past that, just kind of sweep it under the rug and say, okay, it happened, it's fine, I have a loss, it's whatever? Or is it something that's going to affect the rest of his gameplay, perhaps?
I like to embrace positivity, but I will also not be dishonest here. And I will say that if this happened to me, I don't know what I would do. I would something would be thrown out the window, that's for sure.
We would
hopefully not
probably
myself. I'm just kidding. But that would suck. And the thing is, like, this can happen to anybody, man. Like, that's the thing. This stuff can happen to I've seen scientists struggle, like everybody has dealt with this. Like, this happens to anybody. But the thing is, you're always kind of like hoping that it doesn't happen to you, you know?
Right.
Like, I don't know, man. It sucks. It sucks. I don't know what to say. It sucks.
Maybe once you put
you can bring it back. You can bring it back. I have faith.
Yeah, at least it was game 1. That's not as bad as if this were game 5, let's say. And
if you lose a series on that, that's PJ Salt.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's also a best of 5 rather than a best of 3, so there's a bit more of that cushion there. But yeah, maybe once, if you put in a certain number of hours or days into Duelyst, for the percentage chance of something like that happening to you increases until it's eventually 100%. Everyone experiences a game where you either rope out or missequence or something.
It could be a misclick. It could be a misclick. Like, it's just a mental lapse for like a half of a second, and you do, like, that's happened to me so much. But the problem is, it happened in like a tournament match like this, and it's such a cool lethal too.
I think the possibility that nobody's discussing here is that it's just extended BM.
That's true.
He's like, you know what? I don't even have to. I'm still going to win the series. I'm going to just like spare you. Let's make it interesting.
If he wins the series, Minmaxer will become my own personal Duelyst hero. That's just what I'm saying. Like, if he comes back from this, it will be inspiring because, oh my Lord, I would, it would be tough. The salt, like, would override my body. It would be something else.
Well, that was just game 1, though, and I'm sure we're going to have just as hard of a time as sweeping it into the back. The players involved as well, going into game number 2, where we're actually going to see PandaJJ's Zoran deck. That is a Meltdown Zoran deck as well. So Winter, being that since you've joined the developer team, you've had a big hand in bouncing and things like that, and getting to see the excitement of these cards put to use, including cards like Meltdown since the expansion release. Are you stoked really to see these in action within this qualifier?
Yeah, I mean, a few months ago, the idea that we'd be seeing Zoran, at the top of the ladder in tournaments would be like kind of funny, but here we are. I'm really excited to see diversity in generals, and as far as Meltdown's concerned, I think that a Zoran deck that can keep itself healthy, control board, and then do the knockout punch with the Meltdown could be successful. It's going to be interesting to see how that operates against a deck with huge burst like Minmaxer's Reba.
Yep. Very opposing decks here in game number 2 with PandaJJ on the starting side with Zoran, and then Minmaxer taking a second stab at it on side number 2 with his Reba deck. So healing versus some bursting. We'll have to go ahead and see how things turn out here. Remember, everybody, to share your thoughts with us using hashtag DWC on Twitter by tweeting at PlayDuelyst. And yeah, let's go ahead and see how things go down in game number 2 of series number 3.
Let's get it. And on the left, Minmaxer. On the right, Linar versus Songhai. But it's the females going at it this time around. As we see a lot of healing in his hand, though. I mean, it's obvious it's Ziran. He's going to have healing, but that's going to be really relevant in this matchup.
The healing in our deck is packing quite a bit of healing. Yeah. Looks like he knows the point. Yeah, understands what the general cares about.
I would have led off with Azure Herald actually because of the 4 health and not dying to Phoenix Fire, but that's a good approach too because you do have 2 attack here. I think that Circle of Life is definitely something you should keep because it's a very clean way to deal with the likes of 4 Winds Magi, for example. So I think Panda's aware of this.
Something else to consider about the Healing Mystic is that it can heal creatures, which in a Heal Yanar deck has very important implications. So interesting decision there. So how do you feel about Lancer, Sunforged Lancer, a card that we've been seeing a lot of on the ladder in the Heal Yanar decks?
I mean, it has a permanent effect unless you dispel the general. So I've always, like in the past, I've underestimated it. I didn't like running it myself because I didn't like running Healing Ziran per se. I like to run Divine Bond Ziran because I think he's really good at keeping Ironcliffe Guardian alive. So I took like a little bit of a more unorthodox approach towards that. But in these kind of decks that focus a lot on healing and make that kind of like your win condition, Sunforged Lancer really contributes to Ziran getting out of hand. Like it's always deceptive. Card. It's very deceptive how snowbally it can potentially get. I'm not the biggest fan of the card because it's easy to remove and it's I don't know. There's certain things that like it's not easy to have it combining with a healing effect and get like its effect applied multiple times. But
it does require multiple turn setup.
Yeah, but then I get really pressured by it when I face it on the ladder. So it's kind of like my opinion constantly changes with that card.
Right. Yeah. It's particularly interesting against Songhai, who typically don't pack the Dispel to get rid of the effect on the general. Also a decent meta call against, Cassiva, who does have a lot of, Kalino and Sunforge do not play well together. So, going to be interesting to see if he chooses to play the macro game, go for a setup there. Got to deal with that Guitar. Might be looking at a Tempest.
Let's see.
Trinity.
I think Tempest is definitely justified here.
It's going to come in here. Yeah, you can Tempest, drop the Azure Herald.
The problem is you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable to a 5-attack Sojourner.
You are. I mean, you do have quite a bit of healing. 13 in hand. Circle of Life, Trinity, and Azure Herald. So, I mean, you have to keep that in mind. You can't get too scared. You have to play a little bit aggressively with your health as a resource.
Yeah, I agree. Overall, Sojourner may have 5 attack, but it's got 2 health, and it's without a doubt nowhere near as threatening as the likes of Katara is.
Right.
Which, could just get out of hand. Sojourner can be much easier to deal with, and this 5 damage will hurt, but we see Trinity Oath, double Circle of Life. I think Panda will be fine, at least for the time being.
Right. If Panda can draw this game out, keep the board under control, make sure nothing crazy happens with buffed minion sticking in the back and just sort of start that snowballing process. He's going to be in a very good spot. I mean, looking at Minmaxer's hands, Blood Rage Mask, maybe not the most relevant here. Wonder what we're going to see replace on.
Yeah, it's difficult to say because I think he could either, go for the play now or see what he draws with the Sojourner first.
Right.
The thing about leaving a minion alive for Linar is that that's a holy immolation target that can get out of hand. So it's not.
It's true. And the Sojourner can hit it and survive. So
but
we'll
this juxtaposition is
nice. That is very technically sophisticated play. Just putting that Sojo or the Heartseeker in the back, leaving the Sojourner alive.
That because he doesn't want to sacrifice the center of the board, and
right.
I think that's very smart on his behalf. Instead of because he's like, I'm going to waste a juxtaposition. One would think that it's not a proper play because of that, but in reality, a lot of times in Duelyst, having the proper position and being dominant in that sense, like look at this board right now. Minmaxer in the center with a Sojourner on top, a Lantern Fox on the other side, and a Heartseeker behind. Like that's really solid positioning, really solid states.
And you're totally right. I mean, a Heartseeker in the back that sticks and can get value over time is going to let Minmaxer play the game that PandaJJ's deck wants to. And being under so much pressure here, having to take a slow turn to Circle of Life, yeah, you're going to be healthy, but you're going to run out of options. Eventually, you're going to have to take a turn where you sacrifice a lot of tempo to use that Trinity Oath to refuel. It's going to be tough if Minmaxer can keep that pressure on.
Meltdown in his hand. Meltdown could be very threatening if applied. Like, next turn, if that mana orb does not get taken, which is somewhat unlikely, but it could happen, we could see, Sunforce Lancer plus Trinity Yells being applied. But, looking at his hand, Panda does not have nowhere near the burst Minmaxer has, and Minmaxer already has the board advantage just because of that Heartseeker in the back. So it's going to be a tough turn for him, really, because look at his hand. Katara, Inner Focus, Killing Edge. Is there any reason not to go for that? Or I like this. I like this approach, like going with the Four Winds Magi instead, keeping it out of range. Like that could be even more threatening. But you got to be careful with Four Winds because it does trigger, healing
procs. Yeah. I almost feel like you want to save the Killing Edge for the Katara to get that card back. You know what I mean? Because that's going to be really important here. Because you're playing against a deck with a lot of healing, you have to be very resource conscious, and every card matters. Gassing out too early, leaving Zoran to just stick a minion, heal it, stick another minion, and just overwhelm you is not a winning situation for you as the Riva player.
I agree. This Trinity Oath is pretty solid. Brings him back into it, but he unfortunately does not draw any two drop.
My gosh.
There's a two drop he could have used. Oh man, that sucks.
He's just on board facing so much damage. This is going to be it here. This is going to be it.
I think this is clearly lethal, right? Like he develops that Inner Focus, Killing Edge. Yep. Four Winds manages to connect as well, and that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen.
Had to run forward to threaten that with Holy Immolation, but
I mean, it was kind of like, hey, I'm not gonna win this game if I just keep on running because I'm so down. Yep, just wow, the burst, the power. He had to risk it at that point. Like he wasn't getting anything from running away. Good game.
Minmaxer not missing lethal this time.
Good for him.
Good job.
Yeah, it looks like he was able to keep level-headed in game number 2, saying, "All right, yeah, exactly." Because a lot of players, especially if you're bringing the same deck forth with the same exact win conditions, can allow that to get ahead of them, thinking, "I wouldn't even have to be playing this deck right now if I would have won in game number 1." But he was able to seal the victory there. One thing, Winter, you noted that you have to be resource conscious against someone like Zoran because of that healing ability. Would you say then Minmaxer did a good job of not getting ahead of himself with Burst and rather managing his resources a lot better?
Absolutely. I think that he played very, very carefully. We saw the technical attention to detail with that Jux play on the Heartseeker. but very positionally aware, very aware of his role in the matchup. That was a pleasure to watch.
Now, interestingly enough, in our third game of the series, it looks like PandaJJ is sticking with Zeron, and then Minmaxer is bringing Argion to the table. So it's actually a Lionar mirror matchup here, considering what we have seen from PandaJJ's deck and what we may expect from this Argion deck. Mogwai, how does a matchup like this typically play out in your mind?
Well, it depends on what kind of Argion he's running. If he's running Tempo Argion, it depends a lot on the draws, I feel, because Zeran does have a lot of tools to basically withstand the early pressure that Tempo Argion can do. I think Argin's Roar, though, is very menacing. It's very menacing. It's not like Zeran has an easy time avoiding the likes of Azrit Lion, for example, unless she's able to get a Sunforge Lancer going on and it can buff up her attack. There's a lot of... It's a different matchup to call, but Argion is considered to be superior. And it's definitely something that Zeran can struggle with. But in reality, it really depends on who's running more Iron Cliffs, I feel. Because Tempo Argion is very solid, but something that it really struggles with is a slower Argion with bigger provokes, for example. It's gonna depend on the curves they're running, I think. And, of course, their draws and their decisions, as every Duelyst.
And everything!
There's a lot of factors. It's hard to say, really.
And perhaps holy immolations galore in this matchup between the two of them. So we'll just have to see how things play out. This is game number 3 between PandaJJ and Minmaxer, currently tied up between the two of them. So let's see who takes the lead right now.
Panda on the left again, Minmaxer on the right, as he does have the Windblade Adept to open up, which is a very solid lead. The question is, will he replace, for example, the Azure Herald right there sitting in his hand? He could, or he's going to have to replace the Tempest. Interesting.
Yeah, figuring it's maybe not the best matchup for that card. Blistering Scorn, okay. Shoot Trinity, that's not the best card off the top. You want to have a hand that's very well prepared to deal with this early game that the tempo-oriented Argion list is going to bring. Man, look at that. This is a very canonical tempo Lionar hand, looking sort of like a Solifid or Mitsilji style.
Yeah, it's going to be very aggressive. But the thing is, if it's purely focused on damage output, then Zeran is going to be able to withstand it. It really depends on how high Minmaxer's curve is. I'm not really familiar with the kind of Argion list that he runs, you know? I do know his Songhai list, but I'm not familiar with this Argion list. So these Arcless Sentinels are looking pretty solid, but at the same time, I feel like Panda right now, his hand, he can withstand anything. And that Scorn is going to put in the work in this matchup.
Absolutely. And I think you made a really good point earlier. Lionar, outside of cards like Martyrdom, typically have difficulty dealing with things like Ironcliff.
Yep.
So if Panda is running those beefier minions and can last out the early game and drop high health threats like that, it's going to be very tough for Minmaxer to deal with it. You can't Arclight Sentinel a Ironcliff.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you dispel it, so what? It's a 310 still.
Yeah, indeed. I couldn't agree more. I do like this positioning, by the way, keeping everything just out of his reach, but still somewhat threatening. And it's kind of like a stare down here, who's going to dive into the mana tiles and be, left at reach for the opponent.
Yep.
It's these turns are going to be very key.
You're very concerned about over committing, positionally, or overextending because of the potential of a holy immolation blowout. So this is going to be both players dancing on eggshells, trying not to get just completely exploded by an immolation play. Very cautious here, taking his time as he considers what he's going to do. Tiger Primus is an option. Is that the way you want to use those resources? Do you just want to develop the Silver Guard? Lots to think about. What would you be thinking here?
Gotta be careful. I think Tiger into Windblade is very much justified here. The thing is, Scintilla is a threat, but right now Scintilla can't really. It can come in and he can trade with that Silver Guard Knight, basically. But interesting, like aggressive. I like that second Silver Guard's placement. That actually stops it. Very nicely done, actually, because by placing that Silver Guard right there, it stops Panda from doubling up on one of the Silver Guards. So very, very solid by Minmaxer. Keeping that, because that Silver Guard is out of reach from Scintilla, and the one that Scintilla can reach, Ziran cannot, because Ziran is provoked. So that's going to force a Sunbloom here from Panda, and now he's going to be able to trade into the other one, but he's not going to be able to remove both bodies, even though we see no Holy Immolation in his hand. That's always a threat. Oh, but
right, he doesn't know it, so it's still risky.
This is great. This Bloodborne spell onto...
So good.
Yeah, really good, because he's going to heal Panda at the same time. Very solid. Scintilla's just a solid minion. Really good for both generals. Really solid minion.
Very good stats. Comes in at a good point in the curve.
One of the coolest animations, too.
Yeah, it's like Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
It's like War Blades, or War Talons, kind of.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah. Let's see what Minmaxer opts to do here.
Lots of options. Tile is still up.
You could easily clear this Scintilla if he wants to.
Yeah, he has so many ways to do it. You have the Primus Fist General Punch.
That's definitely his priority, one of them. But the thing is, what do you follow that up with?
You definitely want to get the Sojourner out to start gassing up, I think. Take this turn when you're not under a ton of pressure to develop that minion, increase your options going forward.
You could opt to Sojourner and Primus Fist here. Primus Fist enables him to clear, and he can preserve Roar for the following turn on the Sojourner, for example. Sojourner loves getting roared.
Great target for Roar with that 5 health.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. How do you feel about Minmaxer keeping? Well, Lightbender's not as good against Argent, but against the healing liner, I think it's really valuable.
Yeah, I think that's a good keep, especially if they get like that Sunforged Lancer stack going on. You got to be able to deal with that.
So he opts to drop the Sojourner out of his reach, like far away, just to get it on the mana tile, so he can actually chain it with Arcless Sentinel. Reasonable play, especially considering he's blocking. Like, I like the positioning right there. Like, you can't go back, you can't go front. You either go down, and that's not a good position to be in.
You get boxed in very hard there.
Yep.
Yeah, very good positioning. Choosing for the Sentinel, I like that. Develop that 2/4 body. Like we've talked about with the Roar potential, anything can become a threat. And Panda being at 5 mana, you're not super worried about Immolation. And it doesn't really shut you out, even if it does happen. It's going to be a rough turn for Panda here. Very awkward. You wish you were on 6.
You do. I'm thinking here, like, what can he possibly do? Because not even Scorn, all these minions have 4 or more health, so not even Scorn deals with this board state. It just doesn't help that much at all. It kind of, oh man.
Oh gosh, it's gotta feel really rough.
That's tough. That's tough without a doubt. Sentinel is like, not only does it have an immediate effect, it has 4 health, which makes it really hard to kill if you don't have a previous board state.
And that hand is so rough. 3 Immolations and a Trinity Oath. Ugh. That is just not what you want to be looking at.
Normally you're happy about having like consecutive Holy Immolations, but not when you're behind on board. Like, especially when your opponent knows how to position to, avoid Holy Immolation from basically nuking everything. I think he developed this Blistering Scorn so that he can make everything die easier to a Holy Immolation the following turn.
I mean, what's really going to determine it, I think, for Panda is if he can every minion in Minmaxer's hand dies to Immolation. So if Panda can get a good play with an Immolation next turn, that could be the thing that lets him stabilize and draw the game out as his deck would like it to be.
There are a few cards out there that just generate as much value and tempo gain as Holy Immolation does. So even though it's looking bad for Panda right now, his hand is not all that hot at all. He can get some nice damage here, but I think if he wants to be aggressive, there's not much he can do to avoid Holy Immolation from being very impactful here. As we see a Roar onto the Silver Guard and a Primus Fist onto these Arcless Sentinel so that they can trade off. And this slow, is that a slow that he just dropped? Is that a slow? Because if it is a slow, that stops Holy Immolation completely.
Yep.
Oh, and he's gonna place it on top, isn't he? Yep.
Closes the formation in, so with,
boy. Oh boy.
I mean, you can.
Oh, yeah, she has to replace one of them. Oh, this is tough. This is very
you
tough.
can drop it behind you.
Oh, that's slow. If it wasn't for that slow, you cannot afford to have been like this aggressive. That's slow is so key. Oh boy.
Oh man.
Depth. Oh, that feels bad. That feels.
I mean, if he can survive, he can look forward to Silver Guard Immolation on curve next turn.
I mean, it's not terrible, exactly.
No.
Because Minmaxer needs his own Trinity Oath here. He needs to replace next turn.
Right. He's running out of gas, and if he doesn't conserve his board carefully here.
He gets done. Ooh, that's pretty strong. That's pretty strong.
And it can stabilize, and
He can actually hold Immolation and
yeah.
more. This is a lot of damage, dude. This is a lot of damage. How much is this? 6, 10, 12, 4. He's missing out on lethal by 2, I believe. He's actually missing out on lethal by 2.
You go for it? You just go all in here?
I mean, you leave him down at 2 health. I think you do. Like, I think I would hold Immolation anyways because it clears a Windblade. I don't know. I think you do. I think you do, without a doubt. I like that he's dispersing his I like he's dispersing his threats here. Oh boy.
Yep.
Oh boy, look at that
And
damage.
dealing with that Windblade also just very, very good.
Look at that damage, son. And the key thing here is that if he leaves him at 2, that Line Bender seals the deal for him. If he opts to go, like he has to, instead of, he may go with Silverguard Knight, but I think he has to go with Azure Herald if he wants to live. Like if he wants to like not, oh man.
Yeah, I mean, you're concerned about Tiger. I mean, you could Silverguard MO and then run backwards, leaving it in front of you. But at that point, you're concerned about Tiger, MO, things like that. Do you go for the Herald?
I would go for the Herald. Like 2 health, you die to Tempest, you die to a lot of stuff. And that's avoided by... it's tough though. It's tough though because Holy Immolation then kills you, and well, Holy Immolation will kill you anyways. Oof. I don't know, man. It's tough to say, but what we know, for a fact. What we know for a fact is that if he doesn't go Azure Herald, he's dead. If he goes Silverguard, he's dead. He goes Azure Herald. It's very smart in my opinion. Very nicely done. He actually avoided lethal because of this. Brought back to 5. Holy Immolation clears the board, brings down Minmaxer to 13. Right now, Minmaxer needs 2 out-of-hand damage because he already has 1. He needs 2 out-of-hand damage to win this game. Will he get it? He's gonna go for it. He does not get it. He does not get it. I would still go face here. I would still be aggressive.
I think you have to because if you don't close this game out, Panda might slip out of your grasp with all the healing in the deck.
Yep. I cannot agree more.
Oh man, as Minmaxer now, you were hoping that Panda doesn't have healing in his hand and that your draws are really good off the top. But look at all that health, dude. Trinity Oath, Herald.
Oh, he's gonna get back into this. He's actually gonna get back into this. He's gonna heal up, draw 3 cards. He still has 4 more mana to go, and he has a lot of healing options as well. He opts to replace the Sunforce Lancer. Pretty smart. At this stage of the game, it's not that relevant. And I think I would go double healing here, man. I would go double healing. I would not even think about it. Yep, that's exactly what's gonna happen here. Oh, nicely done. Nicely done. Oh, he's back in it. He's at 11. He's at 11. And he's going to attack, put him down to 10. Oh, man. We could see a comeback here. We could see a comeback. Draining Wave. Not really what he needs right now, I think. Well, he's back. Ooh, that Regalia.
That's very relevant here.
It is. Oh, man, this match is crazy.
But Immolation. Immolation would have dealt with this board pretty handily, but Panda just has such a nice follow-up here.
Oh, man. Because he has to Regalia here 100%. Now, the key is... I would kill a Healing Mystic with Regalia, not the 1-2, and I would use a Windblade Adept to trade off with the 1-4 because it still doesn't die to the other Azure Herald. You are obviously vulnerable to a burst, but
at this point, there's nothing you can do about that.
The problem is if you want to kill the Healing Mystic, you have to get a little bit you have to move to the upper right.
Yeah, positioning is kind of awkward here.
Man, this is nuts. He actually roars the Windblade at depth. Why is he moving? Let me see what he opts to do here. He trades with that.
Move up
He goes with Regalia. Why is he moving over there?
Oh, never mind.
Oh no, he's taking center. He's taking center. I like that. That prevents. Not exactly. Yeah, I like that because by positioning himself like this, Panda cannot run from him. He can put something in the middle, but he cannot technically run from him. Even though he could still go to the right and put something in the middle, and Windblade at depth will not be able to reach it. Not sure why he wouldn't move all the way there. Oh, that Trinity goes.
That is just gonna put him
again.
He's gonna have so many cards in hand.
I think we're gonna see a comeback here. I think it's pretty clear. He was almost down, and look at this. Oh my lord. Is he gonna that's not worth draining wave. Tempest just clears this anyways. I'm not sure why he did that. You could just Tempest.
He might want to save the Tempest for pushing lethal.
That's true. That makes sense.
Whereas the draining wave can only kill creatures.
That's true. That's true. It does deal 4 damage to you though, which is a bit scary. But he only has 4 cards in hand, so it's not like that. That Silverguard Knight is actually
Blood Tier Emo is very sick.
The problem is he doesn't have the position. Well, he could develop it just to kill that, but he doesn't get the 4 damage on him. But he does.
Do it and go face with the Regalia. Yeah.
I think it's still worth it.
You have to. If you don't do it, what do? Do you just wait? I mean, you just punch it and blood tier that? Like,
I think that's what we're gonna see. I think he's preserving that. It's not an easy decision to make. He just ran out of steam. That's the weakness of Tempo Argent. If Tempo Argent does not kill you when it needs to kill you, he replaced the immolation. Oh, I don't know what he was searching for, but that was very risky. Minmaxer is desperate. Minmaxer, I can't even pronounce that, is desperate at this stage. Yeah, he goes connect there. Oh, that does not feel good.
You can't replace the blood tier because then you don't have a guaranteed way of clearing that Silver Guard.
Yeah.
And you might have an immolation and a spell. He was really looking for a Trinity Oath or something like that, I imagine, if he's running it, or just, a better, a creature to develop. Very, very tough. Meltdown's looking nasty here.
Oh, that scoring is actually pretty nice. The thing is, Meltdown cannot kill this turn unless he's willing to go for the 50-50, but I don't think he's going to do that. He doesn't need to do that. I think we're going to see Scorn being played here. Or no, he's going to trade those two. Oh, he's just going to get away and develop Meltdown. And okay, yeah. He may not have lethal this time around. He may not have lethal, but he'll have it soon enough. Yep.
Yeah, but he can just Tempest next turn.
Yeah, he's setting up lethal for the following turn. Meltdown is inside. Meltdown Ziran, ladies and gentlemen. Meltdown Ziran, I love it. Down to 4. Down to 4. Minmaxer replaced into Regalia. Regalia will make him survive, but with Tempest in hand, this is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Meltdown for the win. Because he can just double Tempest to kill the Azure line on top of that. Wow. Wow, what a game. What a game. What a game. What a game. And I don't think the matchup was clear at all on top of that, because I saw people saying, Argent has the advantage. Ziran has the advantage. I think it's not an easy matchup to really analyze here, as we see Panda coming out on top. That was beautiful. That comeback, though, that was great. Absolutely great.
Man.
Fantastic. GG.
That played out just so. I mean, there was some tension there, when Ziran was under the gun. But as far as the canonical, mid-range beats aggressive lists, if they can stabilize and run the, aggressive list out of gas, that's basically exactly what happened there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And looking at that, where things were looking extremely grim for PandaJJ at the point, Mogwai, would you say the turning point was when he had to take a second, think about what the safe play would be, and put that Azura Herald down, use that with the Holy Immolation, rather than trying to go with blocking with a Provoke that could have just been knocked out by a minion in general?
I actually forgot about that for a second, and indeed, it's crazy if you think about it. If he would have opted to go for the Silverguard Knight, he would have lost right then and there. That is nuts. That's actually nuts. He took a while to be like, do I go with a silver guard? Do I go with this? And he opted to go with a healing, and that's what eventually led him to winning. That's pretty crazy. That match was pretty epic, and if I were Panda, I would be very proud because he just took down Arjun, who everybody and their mother says is superior to Ziran. Well, this man just took it down with Ziran. And
best line our general says who?
Yeah. I just love it when Panda just proves, like, I don't know, Panda just, people say one thing, Panda does the other, and he succeeds, and I love it. I love it for that.
Because with the last expansion, some were saying, oh, cards like Trinity Oath, that leans itself towards Zeran and having that healing ability, while others say, well, Argion is still the superior general. It's just giving heal over to Argion. But here we saw a situation where things worked out very fondly for Zeran. So Winter, kind of looking at the way these matches have gone, I don't think this is the first time we've seen where Zeran has gotten low health, but because of that healing was able to work herself back up there. So do you think maybe burst and just being able to burn down quickly is the way to kill her? Or is there another way to try and maybe control the situation and mitigate some of the heal over time?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. Like we saw in the previous match where Riva was able to take Zeran down with just a tremendous amount of burst and forcing Zeran to be unable to take those slow turns to heal up and stabilize by presenting too many threats. I think if your deck can do that, that's good, but I think that like Tempo Ardion list is going to have a tough time doing that in a lot of instances. So I think it really depends on where your burst is coming from and what sort of threats you're developing.
And the meltdown to come down in the end really worked out as well for Zeran, even though there was that ability of the artifact to block a bit of damage. Just having that finish for PandaJJ, showing that he always has a thought behind every card that he puts into his deck and tries to showcase them in some way or another. Now, in game number 4, PandaJJ will have Vath, and Minmaxer is still rocking the Argion. This is the game that determines whether PandaJJ closes it out with the last deck he has remaining, or if Minmaxer keeps himself into it and pushes this to a game number 5. So everybody, I hope you are ready for the action. PandaJJ on the starting side, Minmaxer on side number 2. Game number 4, series number 3. Go.
Let's do this. Panda with a very solid opening there with the young Silthar. That's like my favorite thing. Like going first, being chilling there with Voth and seeing that young Silthar in my opening hand. That just feels good, man.
What about Flash Elucidator take the middle tile?
That would be interesting. That would be interesting indeed. As we do see the young Silthar opening right there. You can actually, like, the beautiful thing about this, the young Silthar, and I think you can agree with me on this, is that it just is such a guaranteed acceleration into the 4 mana, you know, when going first. Like, it's very hard to remove. Like, if you can't reach it, how do you kill it? You know, it's very... it's great because of that.
It takes a few instances of damage to clear it. So that guaranteed acceleration, like you said, very, very useful.
Super useful. Super useful.
Now, on the other hand, natural selection is going to be not quite what you'd want it to be here because you can't kill the young Silithar off.
Yeah. I do think Elucidator is a clear play here, developing on top there. Yeah, definitely. I like that a lot. Clean way to knock out the Silverguard Knight, and we do see Arclet Sentinel.
That's going to take this out 100%. And that is unfortunate. You really, really want that 5 damage to go through because you did spend a bunch of life. Ooh, and Blood Tier, man.
Or Blood Tier. I think Blood Tier is definitely better now.
Blood Tier Sojourner is so nice here.
Yeah, it's so great. Like, he just has to think about his positioning here.
Right.
I think he has to get out of reach from the young Silthar, potentially. Though, I don't think he's going to be fearing, like... he could be fearing, like, Greater Fortitude and the likes of that. Potentially Dark-Tide Frenzy, too. That's not too crazy. That's actually pretty prevalent. So, it'll be interesting to see exactly how he positions, but I think the play is clear. I think we're clearly going to see Blood Tier and Sojourner.
Yeah, interesting point with the Dire Tide. If you can justify the investment of a card on a creature, that's very, very liable to give you a lot of value against these sort of Lion-R lists that have a lot of minions that die to it immediately if they're not playing around it, and people tend not to. But people are playing on Flash Warbeast a lot of the time, so I don't know. In any case, this natural selection is so good. So good for Sojourner.
Great. Natural selection is just such a good card overall. It's just so solid. I like that he's going face here. He knows he's going to win this game with a powerful burst potentially, so he's just going to get his damage on.
Right.
Both's Overload, one of my favorite Bloodborne spells in the game. Just so good. And so fun as well. Let's see. He draws another Young Star. Not really drawing out too well, but that Plasma Storm can definitely put in the work. It can definitely put in the work.
Yeah. I mean, you are his last turn, he did only 1-for-1 the Sojourner, but it's sort of a best case scenario. You do still have the Bloodborne spell, like you said, to really help you in managing this Lion-R board. You have the heal going forward. That's going to be useful. Fizz. Not necessarily the worst.
Yeah, but he did replace it rather quick. As we do see Bloodtear launching in there. Kind of interesting use of Elkind there. Not opting to develop the Silverguard Knight nor the Sojourner, which is interesting. As he... Did he pull that Trinity Oath with Elkind?
I believe he did.
I think he did.
It's very, very spicy.
He actually pulled that Trinity Oath with Elkind. That's hilarious.
I mean, his hand's pretty full here, but, again,
no, I know, but
not the worst card.
Like a draw card pulled another draw card. I'm pretty sure he, since he's running Sojourner and Elkind, I would find it hard to believe that he's running Trinity Oath as well.
Ugh, that's so rough. I mean, he's very low here, and natural selection is just... If he could kill the Elkind with it, that would be nice, but...
I mean, he does have the Earth Sphere, so overall, I think he's going to be fine for now. Elkind can threaten him quite a bit, but we see no Holy Immolation in Minmaxer's hand. So it's not like he can capitalize on this completely. I think we're definitely going to see a Trinity Oath replacement or Sojourner. Oh, there it is. Never mind.
Wow.
Never mind. I think that's exactly what we're going to see here, and potentially him developing the Azeroth line as well. The question is, how is he going to position? Because he is susceptible to Mechantor Warbeast the following turn if he plays his Azeroth Lion out of his reach. Because the only place that he can go... Because if he applies Holy Immolation, he wants to kill the egg as well, the Young Silthar.
Right.
So...
Yeah. I mean, even starting at 4 mana, you have to be aware of Flash Warbeast, even if you're not necessarily playing around it at all times. But going on to 6, it's definitely something you need to respect. I'm sure everyone in chat, and you and I included, can account many a time where we have not respected the Warbeast and been completely dumpstered by it.
Yeah. I mean, Mechantor Jesus is called Mechantor Jesus for a reason. I like this approach a bit more, actually, because he's preserving Holy Immolation for a more impactful use of it, and he's playing around Mechantor Warbeast in a very solid way, locking him in with that provoke. I like this a lot. I like this a lot.
Yeah, especially because you have the Lion here.
Though this plasma is going to hurt somewhat, but it's not going to be the worst. Well, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. He can plasma, he can clear off the 4/2, and he can overload. So I think that's what we're going to see here.
This is, I think, basically as good a plasma as Panda can hope to get at this point.
Especially with this roar,
Right. Like, there's a certain point in the game where... things are getting roared and are no longer susceptible to plasma. And this hand, tigers are not... you're looking for value minions here.
Oh, he goes face! He goes face. Okay. He goes for pure damage. This could translate... Well, the thing is, no matter... Even if he Holy Immolations the Elkind and brings it back to 4 health because of Vath's Overload, I like this approach because it doesn't matter. It's not like... he can Holy Immolation Elkind, attack him, and keep the body on the board. It's just going to die as soon as it trades.
I take back what I said. I was saying Panda's looking for value minions here, but actually, you know what? Good for Panda. He has these tigers in his hand. His opponent is low. He's like, you know what? Most tempo Lion-R lists don't have a ton of healing. I'm just going to play the aggro game here. I'm going to go face. I'm trying to close this game out. And
I think it's a correct approach.
Yeah, very good. Recognizing how his hand should inform strategy. But that Trinity Oath earlier is going to be very, very relevant in responding to that.
Oh, he gets Lightbender, so he's going to be able to dispel Voth the following turn, and all his overloads stacked up. And that Trinity Oath does buy him some good time. And we may just see this Elkian just go face and just dive in for 6 damage, as he's going to bring him down to 13. Will he go? Is he actually going face with his own Argent? No. No way.
With his own Archie.
Oh, with his Archie. Yeah, like I was like, oh, he's gonna go face and attack him and leave him at 12. Like that's not good.
There are many Argions, but this one is mine.
the Argent. Mechantor Warbeast entering the board and wiping out the Wimbledon Adept and dealing 4 damage to Minmaxer, and we're gonna see Voth go face as well, dropping Argent down to 8. He opts to not go face though.
You're worried about that Tiger reach. I mean,
Tiger plus Holy Immolation is a total of 7 damage plus. No, he still wouldn't be vulnerable. What would he be vulnerable to? Because he doesn't have.
Yeah, Roar isn't up. That's true.
I would have gone face.
I think that might actually be pretty relevant here, especially because Double Tiger isn't closing the game out if he can get away.
Is there anything else he could have been playing around? I don't think there's any I don't think Argent has a more powerful source of damage than Tiger Holy Immolation. So
Lightbender is so good here. He's gonna regret not going face last turn.
Definitely, most definitely. Like, there's a big difference. There's a big difference between. Oh my god! Like, he would have been dead here if he went face. You know, the turn prior, he would have been dead here. He would have been gone. I think. Oh man, like that.
Man, he's really regretting it.
I think. I don't know what he would have like. Yeah, there's nothing he. Oh, Triple Tiger!
Oof.
He's got him. No, he doesn't have him. No, he doesn't have him. He needs to basically dive in a few times. Oh man, this is tough. He needs to natural selection that 3/3.
Yeah, and Jammer.
Ah, nice. He's gonna use it to trade with that.
Actually, I like this. I like saving the natural selection for an emergency scenario where you've got to kill something with higher health.
I think Panda has been playing a little bit too defensively here. I think he should have definitely gone face. I think he thought his opponent. The thumping wave.
Oh wow.
Thumping wave. That's very, very relevant. That combined with a Tiger, how much? Okay, so with Flash, probably you can't flash a Tiger. So
can't flash a Tiger.
Tiger plus Holy Immolation plus Tiger is a total of 11 out of hand damage. 11 out of hand damage. If he equips Regalia here, that's just not going to be enough. Well, it is actually. It is.
Use a Sentinel.
But no, let's think here. He equips Regalia. He attacks this Spelljammer, right? Goes face.
Oh,
kills it.
You're talking about Panda having lethal. Yes, absolutely.
He's down to 11. The problem is Regalia does save him the following turn. The problem is Regalia does save him the following turn because now he's missing out on lethal by 2. Because Tiger plus, oh my god, this game is tight. This game is so tight.
Because Panda's at a distance, he's not able to knock that Regalia out for lethal.
Oh man.
What's he need? Elucidator.
Double thumping wave.
Oh my gosh.
That's 10, 13. He's got him.
Perfect lethal. Oh my gosh, look at his hand.
God. Oh my god,
Wow.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Wow.
He takes it, and Panda defeats Minmaxer 3-2, right? Or 3-1? 3-1, right? Yeah, 3-1. Wow. That was clutch. That's nuts. That's nuts. Wow.
And you know what's pretty funny is that right before that happened, Fizz came back to the hand. Fizz is like, no, let me save you. He's like,
please.
Why won't you love me?
Please. Yeah, that was
I said it earlier. He should have held on to that Fizz.
Oh gosh darn it. That was the factor there. But not really matchup there. And one thing for sure, we saw PandaJJ going aggressive, and then he made the decision to back off. In the end, he was able to seal the deal. But Mogwai, how dangerous was he being, PandaJJ, by not choosing to go aggressive and actually giving an opportunity for his opponent to catch up potentially?
That almost cost him the game. I think what happened is he kind of like it happens to everybody. Like he just kind of done goofed and thought he would have his Bloodborne Skull available. So Tiger, because he was at 8 mana, Tiger plus Roar equals 5 attack plus Holy Immolation equals 9 damage plus 2 damage from the general equals 11. So he dies. But the thing is, he did not have Roar available because he had used it the turn prior. So he, even with Tiger and Holy Immolation and the general's attack, after he went face with his own general because he was at 13 health, he would not have been susceptible to said lethal. So by not going face there, he missed out on 4 damage, which would have made the lethal the following turn very easy. But he still managed to pull it off because, like I said, his grandfather deck, has no pathetic cards in it, and just making a Yu-Gi-Oh reference here, sorry. But yeah, very nice game, and that was pretty epic, even though it kind of sucks for Minmaxer to lose like that, to like a top deck, but that's the nature of card games.
Well, and thinking back to game number 1 where Minmaxer had lost the way he did, granted, he won the next game with the deck anyway, but he still gave a win to his opponent there, and then losing that way with the double Thumping Wave Tiger has to feel a little iffy there. So do you think that Minmaxer was playing fairly well winter, or do you think there were some cases where it was a display of how on ladder he's so dominant but maybe wasn't as reactive in the tournament scene?
I think his play was fairly good, aside from, obviously the unfortunate incident in the first game. It really came down to matchups and draws, I think, for the most part. I don't recall any glaring, misplays on the part of Minmaxer, so a bit unfortunate that Panda didn't get punished for his uncertainty with that turn where he chose not to go face that Mago was talking about, but that's how it happens. You just got to keep grinding those tournaments out, and eventually skill will prevail. Not to say, of course, that either of these players is better than the other.
Looking at the side of PandaJJ, he's been known to have very intriguing decks. Things are different. We've seen it in the tournament scene, and then also in ladder, even he's experimenting with things. Mogwai, would you say that the decks we saw from him in this round were atypical or typical to the meta?
We saw Meltdown Zeran, so no. And that's why I love Panda. He's always willing. I know Panda is fully aware of the power of Voth. He plays Voth a lot, but at the same time, part of him hates Voth too because of all the out-of-hand bursts that he has. But he loves using it himself. I think it's kind of like a love-hate relationship he has with that general, but he's really good with it. And when it comes to obviously, he has certain tweaks, certain things, but I think the star was that Zeran deck with Meltdown, and it reminds me of his approach with Xerx and Sash back in the DWC, Open qualifier, the top 8, in which he made it to semis. I'm a fan of Panda, exceptional player, and the fact that he's willing to take certain unorthodox approaches and deck choices towards important tournaments like this, make him like him even more.
Fair
Make me like him even more.
Well, congratulations to PandaJJ for his win in that series. When we return, we'll be continuing with our last series of the day between Dragall, who has yet to lose in this bracket, and our Hacker 93. So take this moment to go get a beverage, a snack, whatever you need, and we'll be returning in just a few moments.